In this special edition of the Tech Review, I'm going to take you on a behind-the-scenes tour of my very own YouTube studio, and specifically we're going to look at the various software packages that I use in order to create my videos, and we're going to ask that all-important question, are they worth the money? So we're going to look at tools like Canva, we'll look at Camtasia 2022, and those great marketing video production platforms, Viddyoze and Renderforest, and ask, are they worth it? So if you're ready to dive in, let's go. Greetings YouTubers, welcome to this special edition of the Tech Review. I hope you're all well, and if this is your first visit, then you're all very welcome. And a very Merry Christmas to all of you, and I've got to say thank you so much for supporting my channel this year. I really do appreciate it. So on this week's episode, I thought I would do something special. I'm always getting asked, Andy, how is it you produce your videos and what software and stuff do you use? Well, you know, over the years, well, last couple of years anyway, it's been a little bit of trial and error. Some software packages are better than others. And I thought, you know, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through some of those various packages, just show you how I put my videos together. And again, I'll give you a rating of the various packages and the pros and cons of what I find. Now, if you've got questions or comments about this and any of my other videos, then of course, please get them down below. And I really do always appreciate your feedback. So without any further ado, I'm going to jump in and do some demos. And remember, if you like the video, please bump the like button. It really does make a difference to my channel. And have a fantastic Christmas. And I'll see you at the end of the video. Okay, stay tuned. There's some cool stuff coming, by the way. All right. So you know what they say, first impressions count, and this is Canva. Now, Canva has been out there for a little while. I use it to produce all my thumbnails, my graphics, my artwork, and you can see also my animations as well. You can create videos. It comes with documents, whiteboards, you can create presentations. It really is unlimited. And in terms of plans and pricing, there is a great free edition, so definitely try that out. That's got some great features in there. But of course, there's also upgrades available as well. And if you get upgrades, of course, you get all the whistles and bells. Now, what I'm doing here, of course, is I'm going to create a thumbnail. So my thumbnail, of course, starts with a piece of text, and you can see I've got the tech review here, and I'm calling it the behind the scenes special. So what do I mean by behind the scenes special? Well, here's some graphics that I've brought in previously. So I can go in, I can bring in my YouTube logo here, of course. I can bring that in there, but it doesn't look quite right, does it? I just feel that maybe a nice kind of background would be nice, and of course it's Christmas time, so I've got some various Christmas elements here. And this looks quite nice, quite sparkly. So what I do is I just literally drag it and drop it down there. So one of the cool things is you can actually take a graphic like this YouTube and you can click on remove the background, and look at that. That is so cool actually. So people often ask me, Andy, why do you put in kind of weird crazy faces? To be honest, it gets numbers on YouTube, and I know that sounds pretentious and crazy, but it's absolutely true. So what I'm going to do here, though, for this one is I'm not going to choose something crazy and random. I'm going to choose a good one. So let's see what we've got here. So this looks like a safe picture, doesn't it? Or this one here. Let's use this one. So I'm going to take this guy here, and I can flip the picture around horizontally. So I'm just going to drag and bring that up here. So I can bring myself here, and again, what I'm now going to do is click on that edit image, and I'm going to go ahead and remove that background remover. Now, one of the things that you can do with a little bit more experience is you can start layering objects. So in the past, graphics packages can typically be very expensive. But I just find Canva, you know, it's fairly low cost. It's really, really simple to use, and it's really nice to use as well. Now you can see here some of that picture. What I want to do is I want to take this picture and I want to send him backward. So now you can see this is an example of that layering. So again, I'm gonna just make that a little bit bigger. I can take the YouTube graphic, of course. I can maybe just make it a little bit more interesting there. So there you go. I have now created my graphic. You know, it's Christmas time. What about, are there any other elements that you can bring in? So again, I can say, yeah, I want a Santa hat. So I can choose Santa hat. So I can click on there, and you can see it gives me a number of selections. Now this looks like a pretty good one. So I can just take that. I can just resize this picture. All right, so there you go. There is me with my Santa hat. So there you have it. I've now created my Christmas thumbnail. Isn't that cool? So those are my thumbnails for my videos, but how exactly do I produce my intros and outros for my channel? Well, these come courtesy of two products, Viddeyoze and Renderforest. Both have pros and cons, and I think it's about time we take a look at them. In creating my intros, I started looking first of all at Viddeyoze. Now, Viddeyoze has been a platform, it's been out there for quite some time. This is the free version of Viddeyoze, and you can see there are currently 232 free templates that you can go in and you can try out. And you can go into the template here, you can customize it, although some of the features are restricted depending on the template itself. One thing that I really do like, of course, is that you can produce both in portrait, landscape and square. So if you're producing videos for things like shorts and things like that, then this is a great feature. Now, the one thing that I really do like is the fact that you can create overlays and you can also create transitions here. And this is a game changer, actually. This is really useful. So it just gives your videos a little bit of extra slickness as well. So you can create snow, for example, in the winter. You can create crackles to make it look like an old movie. And of course, you can create the intros. And you can create title sequences. So you see, you like the lower thirds, you can put in titles and things like that. It's really good. Now, the game changer for me, I used this for a little while. I found it a little bit limited. I think originally I paid $99, but then they changed their pricing plan. And now what we have is templates. So you can go in and you can get this, but it's pretty expensive. So $37 a month, $47 a month. If you want to get the light version, and there's also the template club. Yes, you can see that's the video light. So you get the templates. But $47 a month, pretty expensive. You can also, of course, you can pay yearly as well. Now, on top of that, I decided to take a look at alternatives out there, and I discovered Renderforest. Now, Renderforest has been around again a little bit of time. They also produce 16:9. They produce the square, and they also produce videos for phones. Nice thing about this, you can also control the duration here as well. And you can also control the frames per second, and you can create your own scripts. And there are literally thousands of features here. Now, one of the things I really do like, though, is you can create videos for phones. You can also create your own animations as well, which is great for things like tutorials. Now, in terms of creating a video, absolutely super simple. Again, you just choose the video that you want to create, whether it be animation, whether let's say it's a YouTube video, intros. So I can just go to YouTube intros here. I can scroll down, I can choose the video that I want to take a look at. So for example, let's have a look at this one here. And you can see it gives me a little look. I can play it, there's audio for it here. I can go ahead and I can create it now. And I can say, hey, yeah, let's put in the tagline here. So I'll put my website in, andymalone.org, okay? And you don't have to put anything underneath if you don't want to. You can see that here we have 3 buttons, so I can edit it. I can choose the style. So some templates come with different styles and different fonts and so on. So you can see you can go in, you can change the font and so on. The next thing you might want to do is you might want to bring in your logo. So you can either create a logo or you can add from your library. Now I can scroll down. You can see I've got a number of logos from previous videos that I've gone ahead and created. So for example, I'll bring in my MVP logo and I'll click on this. Okay, you can adjust the size of the logo here. And when you're happy, just click on done. And I'm pretty happy with that. Finally, you can choose some music with the video. So if you're not happy with that, it does make a number of other selections. Okay, that's pretty good. I like that. So we can take that one away and we can add this one in its place. That's pretty good. And you'll notice it makes similar recommendations for times there. Now they have a pretty good library of music and audio tracks that you can use. So going into the preview, you can preview them in 720 and 1080p. Recently, they've also added in UHD. So if you want to upload them in UHD, it's a little bit more per month. I'm quite happy with 1080p. So when you're ready to go, you can just click on let's go ahead and let's process that. Now they will notify you. They can notify you when it's been processed. Now from just a little bit of experience, it does take a little bit of time to process. I would say that that's their Achilles heel, and that's where Viddeyoze is a little bit better. All right, so if I had to score the platforms, Viddeyoze, I would probably say out of 10, I would score them 5. Renderforest, I would probably score them, let's say 7, I would say. All right, we'll come back to that video and take a look in a moment. So here's the video. It's finished rendering. I can play it. Now, to be honest, I'm not very happy with that, so I can go back in and edit it. I can change the color scheme. Sometimes the blue on the white, you maybe want to think about using a different picture or something like that. And then ultimately, once you're ready, you can then share that, and you can share it either on a social platform or, of course, you can download it. So there you have it, a little bit of Viddeyoze and Renderforest. Now we've done the thumbnail and we've now created the intros and potential outros using those tools. But what about creating the video itself? Well, for this I use Camtasia 2022. I've been using it for a number of years and every year it's getting better and better. It's available on both the Mac and also the PC version. However, I would say that you get a few additional features from the PC version, but the Mac version is catching up, and that's what I'm going to use today. Let's jump in and take a look at it. So finally, here I am in Camtasia 2022, and I have a number of elements that I've recorded. So up here, I can go into record, and you can record either your webcam or you can record your desktop or parts of your desktop. So as you can see here, I'm starting with a completely blank canvas. Anything that I put onto my timeline here, and you can see that by default, I get 2 tracks. Now I can right click on any of these tracks and I can insert and remove and rename tracks really simply. Now, there are many training videos on Camtasia out there, so feel free to go and visit them directly. So, of course, I have a number of elements for my video. So now what I'm going to do, of course, is I'm going to go in and let's see what we've got. So I have got a title sequence that I created, of course. So I can go in, and I'm a Microsoft certified trainer. So one of the first things that I might want to do is you can either drag it or you can just drop it onto there. The only thing about dragging it, you'll notice that actually it had created a third track there. Now, when the track comes in, you may need to resize the track. So you can see that this black area is my canvas, and when it goes yellow, you know that it's fixed correctly. A good tip, by the way, is that you can either scale it manually and you can scale it to fit. So I find that a nice little trick there. So I can bring that in. Looks good. So again, I can now move the marker to the next point, and I've gone ahead and I've recorded a couple of intro tracks here. So again, I'm just going to click into here, and you can see that when you edit a track, so when the track comes in or the clip comes in, you can see that initially.
I'm Malone, and on this week's episode, we're going to take a look at what's new in Microsoft 365.
Oh yes. Okay, so there we go. Now you can see that this track is a little bit long, so you can do one of two things. You can either drag the track back there, or what I like to do is I just like to cut the track here as well. So you can either clip it and then just remove it there. Okay, so we've got our intro titles, we've got our intro in, and now the next thing that I would normally bring in is my title sequence. Okay, and I've had a few comments about my title sequence. I like it. I think it's kind of funky, don't you? So there we go. So that's my Microsoft title sequence in, and then I normally have a second intro video. So again, I can drag that up. Now it's important that you drag that up, otherwise you'll have a little bit of blank space there. Okay, so once that's come in, again.
Hi everyone, welcome to this week's episode, and today we're going to take it.
You see, I do make mistakes. Okay, so that's okay when you make mistakes. I can just select it, I can split that, I can remove it and just drag that back. Now, some YouTubers out there, but you know, I don't pretend to be any kind of an expert here. I'm learning all the time, so I'm no expert. But what you want to do is make it as slick as possible.
Hi everyone, welcome to this week's episode. Today we're going to take a look at what's new in Microsoft 365. Now,
so once you've got that, once you've got the intro sorted, that's...
I look forward to chatting with you again soon. Thank you.
Okay, so now again I can split this and I can get rid of that. Now the next thing that I want to bring in is my demo sequence. So I'm just going to place this here, and you can see that we've got this nice demo sequence.
I look forward to chatting with you again soon. Thank you. The first thing that I want to talk about is the new...
So now you'll notice here that the timeline is quite kind of compressed. So up here you can zoom in and you can zoom out. And this is quite useful if you need to make kind of edits here. Now, if you did need to make if you need to make an edit, what you can do is you can drag the red option here, and you can see it's now selected that, and you can delete that particular range. You can also do effects like ripple the time range as well. That's quite nice. So if you want to kind of remove or shorten the length of a video within it, those are quite useful tips that you can do. All right. So finally, next, once your demo is complete, the last thing that I'm going to do is just bring in my last conclusions. So here is my video conclusion. Let's just check that it's the right one.
So there you have it, isn't it?
Yep, that's the right one. So again, I'm just going to tidy that up. So I'm splitting that. By the way, if you had multiple tracks here, on the subject of multiple tracks, you'll notice that at the moment, I'm only working on a single track. So what we can now do is, once I'm happy with this video, you might want to bring in things like pop-up buttons, titles, and things like that. So I'm going to scroll along here, and one of the tracks that I might want to bring in is my title. So again, I can drag this and I can drop it here, and you can see that this is my title sequence.
Hi everyone, welcome to this week's episode. Today we're going to
Now I can click onto that, and you can see that I've selected this particular separate window now. It's a slightly larger window, so that text is maybe just a little bit on the big side. So again, I'm just going to bring that down a little bit. So there we go. All right. So you can see within here, there's a little bit of space. Now, again, if I wanted to, I could reduce the space onto that, but I'm quite happy at the moment. So there is my titles.
If you've not
So
subscribed, then please subscribe down below.
and you can see that I'm taking advantage of layering here. So the more tracks that you have, so I can insert another track above or below, you can add in multiple elements. Now, one element that's really nice is if I just scroll to the end of my video, I'm always asking people to subscribe. And you can see here we've got a green subscribe button. Okay, so I can bring that again. You can shorten that video down if you want to. So I can reduce the size of the video if I want to, but again, I'm quite happy with the way that is. Now, you'll notice here, though, that the button is in green. So what we now need to do is we need to go to our visual effects, and there's a whole host of visual effects. You can blur a part of the screen, you can put a border around it, you can make it, you can colorize it as well. But in this particular case, I want to remove the green screen element, and you can see that this remove and color element is here. And for this to work, all I simply do is just drag it and drop it onto the button, and you can see it now says properties. If I click onto that, you can see that that green screen element is there, and I'm just going to click on this little brush, and when I click onto that, you can see it removes the green screen away. So now all I need to do, of course, is I now need to reduce the size. Oh, just get the right window. I now need to reduce the size of the subscribe button. Okay, so again, all I do is select the corner, and again, you can drag it and drop it where you want. So now you can see when it plays.
Isn't that cool? Thanks so much for joining me this time. Remember, hit the subscribe button up there.
And you can see I try and match it to the audio itself. Finally, the last thing that I do is I will add then my end sequence. So again, I've got a nice end sequence here. I can either use that same sequence again. Typically though, I will use an end sequence. So again, I'm just using this one as an example. So you can see. And there we go. So finally, the last thing to make your video just look a little bit slicker are something called transitions. So I can go in here and you can see there's a whole bunch of different funky transitions here, which are kind of cool. So I can drag and drop the transition there so that when it plays,
Hi there, I'm Andy Malone, and on this
it looked pretty cool. So there's a whole bunch of transitions there that you can use. I tend to just use one throughout the video because I think if you use too many, it becomes a little bit annoying. So again, here's another one. And typically what I would do at the end, we have one here called fade to black. So I've got fade through black, and so when my video finishes, it will then nicely fade away. So there you have it, just a little insight into how I create my videos. I've talked about Canva, I've looked at Camtasia 2022, and we talked about Viddeyoze and also Renderforest. You know, are they perfect? Perhaps not. I'm sure some of you out there will use much slicker tools, and if you do, I'd love to know what they are. Some of you may be saying, Andy, those tools that you've shown me are expensive. Again, there's tools like things like OBS Studio, which are fantastic, and they're free. So there's something for everyone. The thing is, though, getting up there, having a passion and creating something. All right, that's essentially what YouTube's about. All right. Hey, listen, guys, thank you so much for your support during 2022. I wish every one of you a fantastic Christmas and stay safe. And I look forward to seeing you in the new year. Coming up in the next few days, I've got videos on Microsoft 365, what's new. We've got Microsoft Teams coming up in January, and I've also got a great update to Azure AD Connect Cloud Sync. So watch out for those. They're coming. All right. Stay safe. I'm Andy Malone. Thanks very much. Hey, thanks so much for dropping by today. Here's a couple of videos that you may enjoy, and while you're here, go ahead, click on the subscribe button and you won't miss out.